I'm on the quest to find the perfect pair of women's work trousers. I'm Ruth, I'm an inventor. I spend loads of time in the workshop. We're balancing cost, design, durability. Now, last time I tried the Dickies ones. Lots of you said, nice, pretty pricey. I agree. So, we've gone for a slightly cheaper option. These are the Sight King ones. They have these little elastic bits on the side. I bought my normal size in these. I've been testing them for probably 6 to 8 months. I don't wear them daily. I try and cycle through them. But if you had to wear them daily, I think they're like 20 quid a pair. You could have a week's worth for £100, which is pretty much on par of my one pair of Dickies. It's not as thick as the Dickies, but it is a fraction of the price. So, depends what you want. I think if I was on site every day, probably need like separate knee pads, but it's got some pockets at the back, pockets on the side. They're a nice pair of entry-level work trousers. I've got the high knees test. They're a good length. They've worn well. I personally carry my phone in my back pocket a lot, and so having like the Velcro pockets in the back, I find slightly annoying, but that's a personal preference. That's not for everyone. Obviously, it doesn't have the fancy features. We don't have the knee pads, we don't have the unzippable pockets, but we can put a belt in there. I don't do the same thing every day. I have a variety of things that I do. So I've worn these for welding, carpentry, a little bit of like messy glue, resiny stuff, general workshop, scrabbling on the floor, handling dirty stuff, all that sort of thing. As so far, this is the cheapest pair of work trousers that I own. I do tend to use these for the slightly more dirty jobs. They're cheap enough to replace, right? So if I cut a hole in them or I burn through them, they're 20 quid. Now, obviously, you don't want to be doing that on the daily, but I would give them a solid 7 out of 10. And I'm kind of saying for the price point, I think they are good value. If they were a higher price point, I would expect more out of them. So far, good few months in, I think they're doing pretty well. I have a few other pairs that I have also been trialing. There's been a bit of a gap in this series because I think it's important to try these trousers, not just for a week, but for a good few months. Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried these?